vulnerability to me is 100% everything. And with, you know, what I do and the mission that I'm on and what I want to be able to help people with, a lot, like talking about our stories, right? Like we all have our own, but actually standing in front of people and sharing your own and what you've learned is being 100% vulnerable. And what I believe is that if you guys can be vulnerable with me standing here and sharing the story, it's going to allow me to go so much deeper with you. And, you know, I'm so authentic with when I speak to people, and I'm like, I actually have love for you. Like, I believe love is not something you only have with your family or you only have with partners. Like, we as a human race have love. And if we can be vulnerable to the fact that every connection is for a reason and everything is like opening ourselves up to a lesson of some kind, we're winning, right? Yeah? So, permission for me to be vulnerable. You know how I went on like this before? So can everyone stand up for a sec? This is like permission for vulnerability, right? So, I was feeling like this, really shaky, doing it again. So I want you all to shake. Like I want you all to shake and be vulnerable because that's how I feel. So I'm relating. Yeah, yeah. Or the robot, like whatever you feel. But that's the sort of feeling standing here. But you got to do it with a lot more anxiousness, a lot more everything else. So I'm vulnerable with you guys right now. Are you guys vulnerable with me? Yeah. Yeah? We're open? Yeah? Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so I guess like listening to, Don's like, oh no, what's she going to say every minute? I give him full-time heart attacks every minute I'm out there, but he trusts it, so does Rhonda. It's crazy when you listen to someone else's story and like listening to Nathan, listening to Kate, listening to actually every human in this whole world. Like I listen to every single human. We can all relate in so many ways, but our perception of what changes it is completely different, right? So for me, obviously, I was 120 kilos, but I was always in denial. Like, and I've always been happy for what I thought was happy. My mum always used to be like, you know, you like, say it so beautifully. Because I was growing, obviously, and we're best friends, you know, saying it in ways, and I'm like, I'd always be so defensive, because to be honest, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care that I was that person at that time. Probably should take you here. And what I realized is, you know, relating with people, it's like, okay, so has anyone here been on a diet and fallen off the diet? Yeah? Has anyone here lost weight? Has anyone here put it back on? Has anyone here gone to an excessive point and thinking that that's the way to be? Has anyone felt deprived on their diet to a point of this is how it's got to be, right? Like, you feel deprived, you feel slack, you got no energy, but is that the way of weight loss? Is that how you felt? Yeah. So, we can all obviously relate in some way, shape or form with our journeys, and I can guarantee by the end of all of our stories, one of us would be relating to you in some way. And that's, you know, why we're here, is to be able to relate and change. I've already asked permission. Look, ahead of myself. Permission? Yes. Great. So, when I was at this stage, the climb for me, I never realised the climb. Like, for me to get to 115 kilos or wherever I was, there wasn't a process or an awakening that I was waiting for constantly for me to be like, oh my God, I'm so big. And I wasn't like, what am I going to do? You know, at this huge weight, and I was always waiting for that to come. So I would, you know, I went to a doctor, got put on Duromine, lost 20 kilos. Sweet, you know, that's awesome. Now what? Got off the Duromine, gained another 15 kilos. So I'm 5 kilos down, that's awesome. So then I'm like, okay, excessive is the way. So what can I do? Find a cleanse, right? 30-day detox, 30-day coach, 30-day PT, do a plan, because what I found is the journey was so extreme because I was stuck in a rut of excessiveness. And excessive is what we all do in the industry now. We all chase. That's why, you know, most of the successful coaches in the world are like, I've got a 30-day cleanse for you. Do we all jump? 30-day? Yeah? 6 weeks? If someone says to you, I want to take you on a journey for your life, are you going to jump up for it? Because why? The excessive isn't there. The results aren't really quick. And what I realised is off Duromine, awesome. I actually got to the excessive point where excessive was only the way I wanted to go, because I knew the results would come. I remember one day I was actually sitting at home. Don't know where I was sitting somewhere. They're really good at getting personal with their stories. I'm like, oh no, where's my placements? Like, what year was it? Like, but within my mind was so up and down that I can't tell you the moment. But Duromine, already done it 3 times, knew what it was doing to me. You know, knew what it did to my personality, knew that it gave me anxiety, knew that I still lost weight on it. So I got to the point where I actually walked into taking it again for the extreme results, because I was so stuck in a rut of, you know, I was chasing this health, I was chasing this feeling, but I'm going to do it through the weight loss and I'm going to do it extreme, and then hopefully at the end of it, I'm going to have this, you know, rah-rah moment that I've made it. And I'm skinny and I feel good. Now I can go out and conquer life and the weight will stay off and I'll be happy forever, right? Rah-rah moment. Where was it? These were all things I did on top of everything else. I remember, I can tell you this one, I nannied 6 years ago. And I was sitting in the lounge room, the baby was asleep. And I literally was like, okay, I lost all these excessive ones. They failed me. I didn't fail, you know? Drew might have failed me because I gained weight again. I'm like, Drew might stupid, right? Cleanse, awesome, felt good. Stopped it, gained all my weight back. Cleanse is stupid, isn't it? Like, what's that? What? Like, I got to stay on it forever, like, to be that way? Coach, paid them 30 days, $500, finished that 30 days. What the hell? Like, what was happening? So, I remember sitting in the lounge room and I went on Google. I Googled, Mum and Dad don't know this. And I was like, okay, what can be my next excessive point? And I remember Googling, sitting there, how do I get anorexia? Literally Googling in my phone. But guess what? This is what's so crazy, is that I didn't want anorexia. I didn't care about the actual anorexia. I wanted the excessive results that I knew that anorexic people have quickly, right? So, it was only a day, like a day relapse, don't worry. Another excessive point where I relapsed. But I Googled it, right? And it said, okay, there's a few things. You can do your nails, like they distract themselves by doing their nails, you know, because excessive distraction, awesome. Do my nails. It's like, I'm still hungry. Hunger didn't go away with the nails. Then it was like, you know, pamper yourself. Had a shower, feel a little bit better. And then it was like, okay, when you get your hunger pains, and this is like a story that not many people could maybe not relate to, who knows, but the point is the excessiveness. And went to the next part and it was like, hit yourself in the stomach when you're hungry. So I'm that corny that I'm literally laughing at myself. I'm not doing it with like anger and like, you know, upset or crying or sick of being fat. I didn't even feel fat. I knew that in the society now is that we're all chasing this next extreme, but I didn't feel fat. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel confident. I didn't love who I was. But I was happy. I was literally happy. But why was I chasing to be something else? So I was punching myself in the stomach. It's like, but this is not stopping the hunger, legit. Like, no joke. And all of these things were a master of at least 4 years. And it wasn't like obviously we all want to be confident in our bodies. And my alignment, I was happy. I wasn't confident. And that everyone knows my self-love talks, right? But I was happy. So I didn't come to this point of like, I'm so depressed and, you know, I can't walk up stairs. I did used to sleep in my lunch breaks in childcare and I did have huge eating disorders. But over my journey, I started to realize, I'm like, okay, I don't know what the next slide is. Oh, was that? Oh. It's not changing. Oh no, wait guys, just close your eyes for a sec. Can you close your eyes? Close them. Let me just make sure I know where I'm at. I'm pointing it at the laptop. Okay, cool. So, what I found was in my processes, I was restricting myself, norm. That became a normal, that became part of the process. We all do it, right? But with the restriction came the normal. Like when I was restricting, I felt as I was getting results. I was deprived, I was not sleeping. Oh good, notes, I love it. I was not sleeping. I was feeling like headaches, feeling tired, feeling anything that you're not supposed to feel. However, I thought in this process, that's result, and that's what I'm chasing, right? I want abs. So in order to get abs and in order to be healthy, I need to restrict. But after the restriction came binging. Because I was excessive. Then I was like, you know what? I don't want to be restricted anymore. I don't want to, I don't want to live that life anymore. Like I would always have these alignments at the end of my 30-day cleanse, the end of my 6 weeks. This is actually not a fun feeling. So I'd realize this and I'd be like, balance. You know, I'm going out for dinner. Wasn't dinner, right? 4 plates, ice cream on the way home, lollies on the way there. You know, got home, bread, whole loaf, easy. Right? No. Cereal. Kept eating. To the point where, like Nathan said, I was absolutely sick. But for me, I was like, okay, I've gone from here. I don't want that anymore. Now I'm here. Shit. Sugar. Sorry. Oh, no. I've now put myself from here to here. So now, this. Well, okay. Restricted. That's not working. Binge. Well, that's not getting me anywhere. But guess what? Even with these two, then came guilt, always, every single time. So then I'd let myself down. You know, I was on this, because then I was back at the point of, actually, I want to be restricted again. I'd already eaten the food, right? Already fallen off the bandwagon. But at that moment, I allowed myself to do it to a full excessive point because I was excessive within my dieting. Didn't realize it was actually because my whole mindset was excessive, not just the restriction. It was always just this was the fault of everything. But then this and this were the same. Yeah? Restriction, binge, equal pain. This one's made me a bit bigger. Right? So then the guilt came. And I got to the point, right, where I was like, okay, I was still, like, I would gain, lose. So for my journey, you'd see photos on Facebook, I'm 20 kilos lighter. Everyone's like, wow, how are you doing so good? Then I'd disappear for a while, you know, 20 kilos heavier. Like, but I'm doing everything right, you know, I'm doing what society's telling me. I'm getting these PTs, I'm doing these 30-day cleanses, I'm doing what I need to do. However, I'm becoming this again. But if I'm following the plan of following what people are telling me to do, and I'm paying all this money and I'm speaking to people, why is this still me? When I've been to this, and if this is supposed to be so good, wait, I should say I was way smaller, but maybe just like this. But if I've been to this and I've been to this, I was so lost. Like, what do we do, right? Have we all been there? Lost weight, gain weight? Yeah? Regardless of what the kilos are, you know, it doesn't matter, even if it's 3 kilos that you excess over. Every single person can relate in some way, shape or form. You don't need to be this big. You don't need to have a 6-pack. Your excessive mind controls everything. Like how you perceive yourself, your reality, and the way you look in the mirror. You can be 2 kilos heavier, 2 kilos lighter, and you're seeing that. Doesn't matter if Nathan's up here with 150 kilos, I've lost 60, Kate's 25, 40, you're 3. Your perception is what we need to change, not the actual kilos you're holding on your body, right? Because who cares what you look like? Like honestly, feelings is what we're chasing, not the physical image, yeah? Told you I'm gonna get vulnerable. Right, so I got to the point, my brother, so fit. Well, he got fit with me. But, you know, we would go to the gym every single afternoon. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I've made it. You know, I had literal abs. I was going every single day. I was dieting every single day. But what I found was started off every 6 days. I'd get to the point of whatever excessive I was doing at the time. Usually with my brother, it was just chicken and broccoli. I was not allowed anything else. Like, no way. You know, you failed otherwise. But that was the industry, right? Everyone that's in the industry says that. Strong mindset, you fail, you lose. Be strong. So I was like, shit, be strong. So I do 6 days of my excessive dieting with my brother. Then I'd hide in the cupboard. And I was like, okay, what can I find? To the point where there was not even any food, you know, that I actually liked. Oh, Mum used to have like these, what are those things you fill with caramel? The biscuits? Ginger nut biscuits. I don't even like them. I ate a whole box. Like, I would eat a whole loaf of bread, but nobody knew any of that. My parents didn't even, to the point, didn't know any of it, right? Because for me, it was just cheat day or cheat hour, cheat meal. So within the process, I would do that after 6 days. Go on my 7th day, have one of those cheat days, say it's a cheat day, feel okay with it. Next day, you know, still came the guilt, still came the processes. And then what I found was 6 days of excessive, 1 day binge became 4 days excessive, 1 day, yeah? 4 days excessive, 1 day binge. 3 days excessive, 1 day binge. But guess what? I was still fit. For some reason, something was happening in there, and I was, training that hard and being excessive with my mindset, feeling deprived, sleeping, no energy, no mindset. My mindset was only the image. I had no actual celebration in any of the process because I've gone from excessively big boned to, I shouldn't have winked because I was, excessively fit. So literally, and then I was like expecting for this mindset twitch to just happen. It's like I've gotten like, damn, photos cool. We all upload photos when we feel confident. But what I realized was, I don't know where I'm up to within this. Here, cool. Here we go. See, I know my story. Keep saying it before it's on. So, look, obliques, fit. But what I realized was within this process, if I'm doing everything right and I'm muscly and I'm strong and everyone's telling me how incredible I am with my weight loss, you still even fall into the part of, yeah, thanks. Upload photos, use my abs. But the fact that I realized was I gained it all back. So each time, gained it back. If I was at the fittest I was ever going to be, why did I keep going through these processes of overeating, feeling deprived, undereating, feeling deprived, undereating, feeling deprived, following a plan that I'd been given, paid money for, falling off it, and just going through this huge process that my passion behind, and I do not talk in front of people. Not a lot of people at once. But what I realized was talking to one person, it's like, me too, me too, me too. And it's like, we all have so many of these thought processes in our minds constantly, but we feel as though it's normal, don't we? So we don't talk about it. When we're on a diet, it's like, I feel so, and I actually got to the point where someone would talk to me when they're on a diet, and if I wasn't, they'd be like, I'm so tired today, I'm on chicken and broccoli, been training 6 days a week, I feel horrible. I was actually jealous of that feeling when I was relaxed, because I was like, that means they're getting results, right? So if they're feeling deprived and tired and restricted, they're actually, they're strong. They've got this. So then I'd be like, that's what I want. And what I've realized is most people I speak to within the industry or without the industry, no matter who you are, we are all in a mindset of excessiveness. We are all in a mindset where we're trying to transition through these processes. We're trying to go through all of this deprivation and all of this, craving food and being tired and all of this. But we'll stand here. If I said to you, do you want to be perfect? What would you say? Do you want to be perfect?
Yes.
You do? What is perfect? Right. I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, perfect. What is perfect, right? There is no such thing. I was putting through the processes in my body where I was trying to become perfect. The actions. But I would stand in front of you and say, I don't want to be perfect, I'm cool. But why am I making myself feel as though every single day that I'm on this mission and I'm going to change it, I don't care how unhappy I am. When I get to the end, I don't care about what it is. Right? Is this all making sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Here. Mindset transformation. What I realized within my journey, I was going through so much pain with the deprivation and the excessiveness and the cycles and the binging that I got to my wit's end, but each time that I would fall down, I would get back up. And each time I would get back up, I would have a little bit more of an awakening, like we all do, right? Each time it's like a little bit more of a self-awareness, a little bit more of, I could do this. But getting to the end result is a whole nother story. Like getting to the end result, what is the real result? Yeah? So on your journey, what I realized within mine is I got to a point where, like I've all said to you all, I was on these cycles of binging and excessive and, craving and not sleeping and then sleeping too much and never feeling fulfilled, that I started to literally think in my head before I was doing what I'm doing, like I would just on my own, what was going wrong? If I'm doing what the industry is telling me, and not industry, just people, because we're all in this autopilot mode now, it's what we do, what was going wrong? Why wasn't I feeling as if the feeling I was chasing? Yeah? Why was I not getting the results of the mindset and the confidence that I was meant to get if I'd achieved a result? Like, what did I need to work on to be able to get that feeling? What did I need to put in to be able to do it? And literally, I remember the moment I was at World's Gym. It wasn't that long ago. Like, my mindset's climbed within the last year and probably 8 months. I spoke to one of my best friends that aligned me with what I do now with On Fit College. And I was on the phone to him and I was saying to him, like, oh my God, literally it was an awakening for me. I was like, what have I been doing? Like, it's mindset. Literally, it's mindset. Everything I'm doing, I was to the point where it was a huge awakening for me. But now doing what I'm doing, I'm like, how can I change? Like, I have half an hour conversations with people and say, your mindset, give them a few tools, and like my whole world's changed. And I'm like, I'm not special, we're just stuck, right? Like, how are we in a society now where just me saying, take my hand, it's your mind, is changing someone's complete world in the industry of our physical image and health, right? Like, what's happened where we're all so stuck in the process of chasing that physical image and being on different diets and being on, you know, having no confidence to stand in front of people, losing complete connection. What's happened for us to be at the point we're in now? That's why, for me, I'm so passionate in being able to stand in front of you and share it, because I was stuck and I didn't even realise. And for me to be able to come in someone's life and say, let's unstick you, just like me, everything changes for you. So what I did was I started, you know, with my mindset, then obviously came action. Because for me, I was like, okay, if something needs change in my mindset, I need to obviously put action, right? So the awakening was the mindset, and this is what we want for you guys today, is just to have the awakening of everything is mindset. Because you can only go so far. We can take you to water, but to drink it is your step. And I took my step, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do some affirmations. Just in my mind, because I was like, okay, what's going wrong for me? Because I was actually not that big when I came through all these things. I was like, okay, what's going wrong for me to be feeling how I'm feeling in this process? And what I realised was, confidence was really low, obviously, because my body was not that horrendous. None of our bodies are. You know, we're all beautiful in our own way. You see a huge curve model walking on a runway and everyone's like, wow, beautiful. But if we've got a little bit of fluff, we hold no confidence to it, right? So I was like, so there has to be something. And what I realised is not only if I change my mindset, can my life change, but if I looked at myself like I'm beautiful, maybe you will too. Maybe if I say to you, I'm beautiful, maybe I am, right? Because what else is there? There is nothing else. And I started doing affirmations. I get lost. Started doing affirmations, but it tells you the story behind why, right? Started doing affirmations, and I got this book, and I was doing 15 a day. And I did it for literally a week. And I realised that within these affirmations, you know, doing 15 points of the affirmations, 15 things. First few days, so hard, and I, you know, want you guys to take this down or even mental note it, to do it. But when I first started, I'd do my affirmations and I'd write like 3. I was like, okay, this is really hard. I was like, Emma, you're doing this because it is hard, right? Like, if you knew all these things, you wouldn't have self-conscious issues. So for me, I was like, I can do 3, but I need to get to 15 because that was what I limited myself to. And regardless of what I saw in myself, I need to learn, like, everything that I'd felt within self-hate, you know, self-consciousness, every image that I have, I've created within my own mindset. That's with eating, my relationships, with every single thing. So the first thing I want to take control of was becoming confident in who I was at that point. So I started doing them. Within a week, everything changed. And this is not to the point of this. Everything changed for me just doing the awakening of mindset. I mean, like, wow, I'm actually feeling a little bit better. Like, I was like, I like my thick thighs, you know, like, they were things that no matter what, no matter how skinny I was, I had abs. My next point of when I had abs was I wanted skinny legs. You know, then when I had skinny legs, I was like, okay, cool, arms, you know, chin, like, what can I get rid of? But it wasn't the fact of the self-image that I was chasing, it was just the excessiveness. So I learnt to love myself in the process. And not love myself as in being cocky and I'm better than you, loving myself to a point of I'm good enough, right? So many people, when I say, have confidence and learn to love yourself, are like, oh, but, I don't want to talk to anyone about this. What if they think that, I'm cocky? I'm like, mate, cocky is better than someone. You are good enough. And why are we all in a mindset that we can't act as if we are, right? If I can't stand in front of you and say, I'm good enough to be me, then what's wrong? So the first point was the self-confidence. Started the affirmations, handed out how many affirmation books, Mum? And honestly, everyone I came into contact with that was in my life at that point, they got an affirmation book. I wrote down 15 things for them that I loved about them. Legit. I was like, I've got you an affirmation book. And I'm really corny. So I had to do it really subtly. And what I realized is you got one? Yep. Even in the process, what I realized was they were like, wow, things have changed. But it wasn't to the point of full alignment. It was just a little bit of an awakening. Okay, this feels good. How about we go deeper? And so then within that, I started, working on my relationship with food. I started acknowledging the fact that every relationship with food I had was something that I'd created. And that was with binging. So I spoke to Dane on the phone and I said, look, I've come to an awakening, it's mindset. And he said to me, and this is my full journey, this is my awakening, everything. I was at the process where, regardless of where I was with my body, the mindset was never even attached, ever. And he said to me, look, I really want you to come in and have a meeting with Donna Rhonda. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was telling him about affirmations, my mindset, that I'm in control now. And I sat down with Donna Rhonda, and then they pretty much showed me a course, and I became the ambassador of literally everything mindset behind weight management. And that was me being like, oh, I've manifested it, I've realized it, now I'm going to do it. And even just walking on the path of taking responsibility of my mindset and knowing that there is a way to get out of it was everything to me. And the excessiveness of the relationships with food we have that we don't even realize is crazy. So, we see a really hot man, right? And we're in a relationship. Or maybe not, but regardless, can't have him. Do we want him more? Yeah. Right? We see, trying to relate every way around food, and I'm like, how can I relate this and not be too weird? But with food, we do the exact same thing. I would literally be like, okay, 9 hours straight, no carbs. You're having no carbs today. What did I think of every single second of that day? No carbs. No carbs. But what I didn't realize is the feeling's still the bloody same, isn't it? No carbs and carbs, but me feeling about it, still wanting them. And then the same process would happen with sugar, peanut butter. No peanut butter today. My nickname was Peanut, by the way, so I was getting sent all these quotes and so mean. But no peanut butter. Peanut. What did I want the whole day? Peanut butter. And to the point of the excessiveness of every single thing in my day, when it came to meal prepping, meal planning, had to be planned. But when I told myself even that I could have nothing outside this plan, it's all I wanted. And I speak to every single human, I'm like, here's your plan. I don't give them plans, but you've got a plan. Here it is. So why are we wanting everything outside of it? You want to be healthy, right? Do we want to be healthy? Yeah? Do we want to be energetic? Yeah? Do we want to be on a good path? So why are we wanting everything outside of what we've chosen to do? But it's because we're focusing on everything outside of the plan we've chosen. So if we can take back all of that pressure off the meal planning's great. I'm not against meal planning. I'm against meal planning with no mindset. If you've got your chicken and veg in the fridge, cool, chicken's good, veg is good. But if you don't want to eat your chicken and veg in the afternoon, don't. Why? We're living. You live to how you can live in that day. The plan's there. It's always good to have a plan. But if you need to derail from the plan, that's okay too, right? So all of these plans are so good and so important, like our exercise plans, our meal plans, and everything that's in the industry, because they are a way to success. But you need to focus 100% prior to even taking on a plan with what your objective is in it. What do you want? Do you want abs? But do you want abs and to know you've got them? Yeah? Yeah? Completely different, right? Cool to have abs, but do you know you've got them? Because if you don't, you're going to get straight back up to where you were. Because you don't even, your mindset exactly the same feeling in that overweight to what you are in the underweight. There is no difference at all. The image is nothing. So, like the biggest thing that I want you guys to walk out of here is knowing that regardless of who you are, what journey you're on, what journey you've been on, you're good enough to now take the one of mindset and to acknowledge where you are in this moment, regardless if you've lost 20 kilos, regardless if you put on another 20, doesn't matter. But if you can do it with 100% alignment with your mindset and the psychological side of your journey, you will get there, you will stay there, and you will live. Since I focused on my mindset and made it my predominant way of living, I've lost 10 kilos. Do I care? No, because I'm just healthy. Did I do it for 10 kilos? No, because when you get that deep in your mindset, you realize you live for health. I'm good enough. If I want to go to dinner, I'm going to. If I want to have a wine, I can. But at the same point, if I lead my life because I'm good enough, I'm going to lead it with health, right? If you're good enough, if you start from the core and the psychological side of the journey, which is covered in everything that we do, that's your starting point. You cannot get a meal plan, be on it for a month and expect that you're going to stay at the weight you're at if you don't focus on health, being good enough and being confident, right? Yeah. So walking out of here on a new part of your journey, but doing it for the right reasons. Doing it for the fact of your health, because you're good enough, because I got to the point where I'd go to dinner. No, wouldn't go to dinner. My friends, for years, it was regardless of what my image was, I was always in the same mindset. So when I was big, I didn't want to, because in that point I decided, it was always the day before, I was going to diet. The dinners would come. I'd have to make excuses always. Started getting social anxiety because I was bigger at a different point and I'd gained weight and my friends are going to judge me, right? Have we gotten to a point where we've gained a bit of weight after a diet and we don't want to be seen? Yeah. Have we gotten to a point in our diet where we've gained weight and we don't want to go into a gym? Back into the gym? Yeah? So what I realized is all these things started, aligning with me, and I started realizing, and they made every part of the difference. Because I started to just be. Like, I don't care if I've got a bit of flab. Like, if I can love it, you can love it. And if you don't, that's cool. Yeah. Go find someone with no flabby legs. Like, that's cool. There's people out there, but they might not see it. So all these things started being a process. And the reason why I want to talk about them is because with even one phone conversation, and hands up if I've spoken to you somewhere, Facebook, phone call, yep. If I've spoken to you, it's always leading with this being your first way, because this is the way. Like, if you can acknowledge that mindset is key, that you are good enough to be on the mindset journey, that you're actually not striving for this physical image, and if you don't acknowledge where you're at, you're never going to get there. We are chasing a mental feeling, not a physical. So release the physical image from every part of the picture. If someone says to you, what do you want to be in 2 years? Say happy, not have abs. Someone says to me, I had actually an interview a couple of weeks ago. He said, cool, you've been on this journey, like that's really amazing. What is your goal now, your physical goal? And that was it, like for me, I talk a lot when I learn something. I'll tell you guys, like with my meditation and stuff. And he said to me, what's your physical image goal? I said, I actually don't have one. Because if I can live every day in happiness and health, my physical image is going to be exactly as it is. It's going to form exactly as it's meant to. And that part will happen. Your skin will glow because you drink enough water for the fact of health. You will have abs, or whatever you wish to have, it will come as it's meant to look, because you've put the mindset part in front of it. And it will stay there because you've done it for the right reasons. You will celebrate it. Yeah? So if we can walk out of here at least knowing that mindset is everything, and you are good enough now, not in 10 kilos. Don't wait for 10 kilos to be like, whoop, because that won't happen. If you can go whoop now, 10 kilos will come off, and you will be whooping even louder. I won't do it, because I'm like, no, do it. Where's the mic? But if we can just lead towards self-confidence, self-love, motivation for the right reasons. If you go out for a walk, right? This is one, speak to people about. If you go out for a walk for the fact of gratitude, walk for the fact that you can walk. Go for a walk and reflect. If you go to the gym, Go to the gym because you've chosen to. If you don't want to, don't. Your journey is forever. It's not that week or 6 weeks. So if you don't feel like doing something in that day, don't. But at the same point, if you release all of that, you do it anyway. For me, if I skip one day off gym, who can relate? Skipping one day ends up in a week. Because you're like, nah, like I've done it now, next Monday's my day. Got to the point where I was like, you know, skip one day, and then not only that, but if I skipped a day, it became a cheat day. I'm not going to go like I'm going to have a day off everything. I'm just going to go home, get some ice cream, put a movie on, you know. But now if I'm like, actually, I'm human, and if I don't want to go to the gym, I'm just not going to. And you know what? I might just go for a walk. I don't need to burn 600 calories. I might tomorrow. Yeah? So not living for the fact of the outcome constantly, living for the fact of the outcome in that day. And not pushing towards this ultimate extreme constantly, and this feeling of finally self-worthiness within your weight loss journey or your physical image, getting there to a point where you've made it, but you've made it for the right reasons. And you've made it because you're good enough. And you've made it because, you know, you've done it for the fact of the health because you should be. Not because you're stuck in this mindset rut within society where everyone's chasing for this next extreme with the physical image, but not having any celebration in the process, not staying there, putting so much money into it. All the things are great. You know, if you go to a PT and they give you a meal plan and it's maybe missing a little bit of carbs, it's not the PT, mate. It's your mindset. If you put a tiny bit of carbs back in there, we can stay on it and stay healthy, right? But for me, I was like this week plan, I'm a bit hungry, so whole thing out. Did I think to eat a little bit more when I was hungry? Because when I thought to do that, eat a little bit more, I would then think that the whole thing had failed and that I'd stepped outside of it and that I was weak. Yeah? And going into a gym, if you've had a break and you're embarrassed about the point of maybe you've lost some weight and maybe you've gained it back, what I like to think of is, okay, and these all come from things that I've realised in my journey that I like to share because it helps in some way. And I used to get to that point because I was like, some points I was like, this. Some points I was like this, and this didn't take long to change because my body is so used to changing now. I could gain this in like 6 weeks, lose this in like 2. Like, didn't matter. So I was so embarrassed constantly. If I wasn't at that plateau fittest, I didn't even want to be seen because people were used to that. And what I realised was in that mindset, if I walked in, well, probably both, all the same mindset. If I walked into a gym, regardless of what my weight was, and I feel as though people are judging me, what are those people, like if I was looking at that person walking in, seeing them gain a few kilos, would I look at them and say, oh, they should not be in here? You know, they're a bit bloated, or they feel a little bit full because they've had a cheat. Or, you know, would I look at them and be like, their arms are a little bit looser? I wouldn't even think of it. So why do we as a society go out and live life feeling as if other people are having those judgmental mind frames? But we wouldn't do it. You know, even for the fact of me connecting with predominantly women, like everyone, but with a connection, it's like I'm really nervous. You know, what if they judge me? And it's like, actually to peel it back, would you judge them? Right? So in life, when we create these connections and we create these changes, think about not only what people would do, what would you do to them? Because that's us. Right? So if someone's walked up here, they'd be like, oh, what if everyone's really, you know, nervous and, you know, doesn't like what I talk about? You flip it always. You would be there with your heart open because someone's sharing a story with you. So treat every part of life with that. But know that within your weight loss journey, there's so much more to the excessive physical image. It's virtually 100% the opposite because you will never, ever, have I said that enough? Never stay there, yeah, until your mindset is in full alignment. So do your affirmations. You know, the things that you don't feel as though you love, start to love them because guess what? They're not changing overnight. And if you don't change your mindset about them, they'll never change full time. If you can learn to love yourself as you walk out of here, as you are, knowing your mindset is in full control of every part of your psychological journey, you are winning. Because it doesn't matter, you know, what comes after this within your journey. Like you've got all the answers within this room right now. Every single part of it. You've got the mindset. Yeah? Yeah.
How long does it take to decide?
With what?
How long does it take to decide to change your mindset?
Instant. Like Nathan said when he was doing his talk, I was like, sweet, like so true. The journey is literally commitment and also an alignment of there is another way. When I thought about the affirmations that day, I felt like my whole world had changed. But right now, standing in this room, 8 months later, 6 months later, with OnFit Training College, of what we're doing with the world, completely different. But right then, when I took commitment and took acknowledgement of my mind, all I did was say my mind is in control, not my physical. My whole world changed because I felt release. Like I felt like, okay, so that's where I was stuck. Now let's move forward. We all need to get to that point of acknowledging what's missing. And 90% of the time, and this is because I work and speak to and, and aligned with so many people who do the same, mindset is missing. But if we can take full control of it, you've got the answers in each way that you're looking. Some people have their, when they have their mindset, the psychological hardness when it comes to your weight, self-consciousness, right? Don't feel confident. What do? We eat our emotions in food. Some people, it's just the excessiveness of, needing to have that full extreme, always the pressure, to be something. And in my case, I didn't even know what I bloody wanted. I was just following the cue. I was like, if they tell me that I got to do this excessiveness, I didn't actually feel that bad. Like the confidence when I would always tell you I was confident. But even within the last 6 months, and Donna, Rhonda, and OnFit, and the girls that even know, stepping into that myself, of what I've been able to do for other people, completely different. Because I'm coming to you and saying you're good enough. Do we all tell people they're good enough? Do we all speak to people with love? If you can step into that, you will do this within a week. Because, I would never speak in front of a group of people, ever. Well, didn't think that. But it was until I stepped into the space of, you've got this, go and share it, coming from a space of love, of course love is going to be received. And that's in every single way, shape and form, right? Because we get given what we give. So if I can give you love, I'm going to get love. I say to the girls all the time, any girl, any woman. Men, I'm a little bit more cautious of sharing my love like crazy, but I did that for a while on my Facebook and I was like, ooh, dodging. But say I love you and guess what happens straight back? I love you too. Put work in the mindset, guess what happens? Action, result. It stays. It does not go anywhere. And if you can, come and be at a point of just acknowledging all of this, just even acknowledge it, not if you think this is all true. Yep. I was actually nodding. I'm like, whoa, I can't actually see any other nods. We're all in sync. Then you can walk out of here and just feel okay to the point of your journey right now. Nothing else. But also know that we have so many different answers for you to be able to move forward in what you do. So many. I tell you what, within another 6 months, I'm going to have every answer for you guys. Like every single option within the connections, there is a way. And this is like, me and my friend Kayla, we watched a film clip this morning and it was Preston Smiles. And he pretty much says Preston Smiles. He's amazing, right? And he talks about this talk. And it's so crazy that when you can get in full alignment with your weight management and your psychological side of every part, starting with weight management psychology, it takes control of everything. You actually start to step into your passion. And my passion is this strong because I know this is the forefront of everyone's life. Our weight management, our view on ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, all covered within weight management psychology. And if you can get a hold of that, you're free. Go and fly. Yeah. No, come back. I'm just kidding. And then your life will start. Live to how you can live. Take off the excessive pressure of being something you're not. If you don't really care about the abs, stop killing yourself every single day to get them. Yeah? But at the same point, move forward because you've stepped into a space of acknowledging that is predominant and acknowledging you're good enough to go down the journey. And now let's do it a whole different way. And you will stay there. You will stand in front of a room maybe one day like this and say, look, guys, you need to change your mindsets about weight management because it's that powerful. Yeah? Awesome. So, keeps going. Oh, I'm horrendous with this thing. Yeah, no surprise. So, what you know, I've never felt so aligned in my life ever than what I do with OnFit. Like their mission, what they want to do, well actually what we want to do, and this aligned purely from them just putting me as an ambassador of doing this, and then literally saying, you go Glen Coco. Like there was no if, buts, maybes, you know, this is you just go out. And we sat there and I was like, this is literally going to be a revolution, right? Because if we can all take control of mindset and not be stuck in a rut of the psychological side of our journeys and failure and self-consciousness and, you know, contesting our self-belief and constantly feeling guilt and not socializing, wanting to have a wine with a husband and probably shouldn't, it's like 48 calories, you know, like every single excessive point of everything, even if we didn't even really feel that way, then our whole world will change. So Donna and Rhonda over the time, I've sat down and I'm like, this is literally going to be a revolution. So my passion and my journey and what I want to do is allow people to know that regardless, this is the mission. Reverse everything that you were feeling in an excessive way. I want to be that person who says, wake up. And we've got different, like, there's so many options out there in your own way to be able to get to the next level, right? So I'm the ambassador of the psychological side of weight management, the course. We came together. My mission is to do these with people like Nathan, with coaches, with people like Kate, and just be the alignment of people waking up and feeling as if they are good enough. So yeah, that's my story.